Hi, and welcome back to Mr. Petrimo's channel. Today we're going to give a brief overview of one of my favorite distance learning tools, Nearpod. It's also fantastic in the regular classroom, but right now we're in challenging times and we need distance tools, and Nearpod can get it done. Nearpod, if I had to describe it, I would have to say it is a fully interactive slideshow presentation. But it works in such a different way from Google Slides or PowerPoint than you can imagine. However, it's kind of based upon a slideshow platform, if you will, but it's interactive, and there's a bunch of different activities that you can do. So like I said, I'm just going to give you a brief overview here. I am going to open up one of my current digital citizenship lessons and just kind of show you about. I'm going to go to my first one here. There are two ways to deliver lessons: student-paced and live lesson. Live lesson is when the teacher is in control of the presentation, and you can hold your virtual classroom and do one activity at a time, giving kids directions, waiting for responses, or waiting for students to watch video, whatever the activities are. Student-paced gives the student the control of how quickly to move through the slideshow. So this is great for students who like to work on their own. You can preview them, or you can edit them from the teacher's screen. So we're going to just go through and preview my lesson. This was a regular digital citizenship lesson that I used to do in front of kids. So I converted this to Nearpod. So I have my beginning slide and my essential question, and then my learning objectives, just like you would do at the beginning of a lesson. And then we start getting into some of the lessons. Now, you'll notice at the bottom there's a little play button. That's because I have narrated each slide. So if you have students who are vision impaired, there is a narration feature that's available. Basically, I don't know if you can hear the audio. You probably won't be able to hear that, so we won't bother with that. So open-ended questions is a basic feature. You can give the kids a writing prompt, and then they can type their answers in here. They will have a submit button down here, and once they're done typing, they will submit. And if it's student-paced, they can go on to the next slide. If it's teacher-paced, they will have a thank you screen, and they'll wait for the teacher to advance the lesson. I have a think, pair, share activity built in, so the students will read the directions and then turn and talk with each other. That's going to be a little tricky in a virtual classroom situation, but they could actually easily chat with each other over Google Meet. So observe and discuss activity, another open-ended question. You'll notice right here is my slide counter, 8 out of 17. And then a video that's embedded right into the slideshows. So there's two different ways to set videos, and that is on the teacher device. If you're in a real classroom, you can have it only play on the projector screen in your classroom. For distance learning, you'll have to set that to every device plays it itself. I know that's a little strange, but it's just a setting to control the video. Another open-ended question. Like I said, I'm going through this really quickly just to give you an overview. And these are basic slides that I imported from a PowerPoint lesson, a PowerPoint-based lesson. So another set of directions. This is one of my favorite activities. It's a draw it. And on a draw it, you can set the background of a slide, and then the kids will get these drawing tools right here. And they can actually write right in here. It's a little clunky to write with the writing tool, but there is this cool text box feature, and you can slide in as many text boxes as you want as a student, rescale them, and actually fill in the chart. And this is one of my favorite activities. The kids really like draw-its. You can also insert images. So if you have a prompt for them to find an image, you can let them fill in a chart with images. It's really cool. And then there's a highlight feature, so you could teach them to take notes by highlighting all of the verbs or the nouns in different colors, and it's really, really cool. And then there's the quiz feature, which I like to do toward the end of each activity. I have 3 questions on the quiz, and they're just basic quiz questions. So, and they'll get right away their feedback on whether they got the answer right or wrong, and then my ending slide. So that's kind of like a quick, easy lesson. On my end of things, I will get a report. It will give me a list of all the kids in my class that took this test, and you can switch between each of the activities to see. Now, when it's time to assess and grade, what I like to do is download a PDF, and it gives me a fantastic file to open, and I can see every answer the students did. Every answer for each open-ended question. The first part is a summary. So this is a summary of how much they participated with each section. So OEQ, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This is hard to see. OE, open-ended question, the quiz, the draw it, the collaborate, the matching pairs. And when you have a full class, they'll all be listed here. And you'll have a record of all their answers. Now, TikTok Trevor was my sample, and I just added in there to demonstrate, so there's really no answers for him. And the draw-its will have a little picture, like a little thumbnail where you can see their text boxes and you can see what they wrote and drew. So the reports are great. And you can use these for formative or summative. All right, so that's the report feature. On the Nearpod home page, not only can you make a lesson of your own, but there is a vast Nearpod lesson library of all kinds of lessons already made. With a school subscription, you can also share lessons within just your school, and it's really cool. So we can go to, let's go to Top Math, and we can select our grade level, and it will show us math lessons that fit for the 7th grade that are math based. And there's, as you can see, there's a bunch of different ones that are pre-made that are available for you to pick from. As you go through and find a lesson that you like, the really cool thing about Nearpod is you don't have to go with the, you can change these lessons. You can edit them, you can customize them. So they're really great. So I'm just going to open up the outer planets. Let's open this one up. And you can preview it and go through the lesson and see what you like, see what you don't like. This is a really great feature too. Connect the word with its correct systems using the draw it. So you can have the kids do lines just like that. Great feature. You see this one has a quiz. So it's 27 slides long. So after previewing it, you can decide I want to add it to my library. So I'm going to add this one to my library. It's going to download, and then it will be editable, if that's the word, in my library. So I can open this up and edit it. If I always duplicate and keep the original, but the original is always stored on the Nearpod lesson library. So there's really no reason to duplicate it and then edit it. So I'm just going to edit it. And here is my lesson that is preset, and I can go into a slide and change it. I can take this one out completely. I can resize things. I can drag them and put them in a different order if I like. I can take out a video if I don't like that video, and then save it and use that lesson. And the Nearpod lesson library is fantastic, fantastic. So just a real quick overview. I'm going to open up my blank, show you quickly all of the different types of slides that you can do. So there's 3 main categories. Under add contact, you have a blank slide. So that's just a plain slide like a Google slide. You have Nearpod 3D, which is 3-dimension pictures that the kids can rotate and turn to look at. You have a simulation, which I haven't played around with a whole lot yet. Field trips are fantastic. They are virtual field trips with 360-degree photos, and you can zoom in. And like the one I used was in my current events right after the tragedy in uh, uh, Notre Dame. Sorry, I was having trouble thinking about that. Right after the tragedy in Notre Dame, there's a virtual field trip of the cathedral. So I put that on, and the kids were able to zoom in and see all of the features. They were able to look at the ceiling and zoom in and see details. It's really, the field trips are fantastic. BBC videos are built into this one. The sways are really cool, and I'll have to show you that later. But basically, I saw a sway on Dr. Martin Luther King, and it is an incredible feature. Incredible. You can set it up to where it has the history of Dr. King. It has video. It has quotes. It had pictures. It was just a really cool feature that I want to get more into. Basic slideshow. You can upload a slideshow into Nearpod and then start to add features to it. Like you can add open-ended questions to your slideshows. You can add YouTube videos or your own homemade videos. You can add audio and PDFs. And then if you're a Twitter user, you can add live Twitter stream. Under web content, you can copy and paste any URL, and it will give the kids a clickable link that will navigate them to that page. So that's quite handy. And then add activity. You have the kids' all-time favorite. Oh my God, they love Time to Climb. It's basically a quiz, and they're all in the class together, and they're racing against each other, and they love it. I don't know what it does to them, but oh my God, every lesson I do on Nearpod, does this one have a time to climb? So they love that one. Here's your open-ended questions. So any kind of writing prompts, big or small, one answer or a paragraph, we'll let them write as much as they want. Matching pairs is a cool little tool. You can do words or pictures that match. The quiz I use quite a bit. It does have a Flipgrid tool. If you are a user of Flipgrid, the Draw-Its are one of my favorites. These are so customizable. You can put a blank screen and have them draw whatever, or you can put a blank screen and have them go find a picture on Google and put it in there and then circle things, or there's so many features for Draw It. I love to put in charts and have them fill in the charts with the text boxes. One of the other favorite activities was an empty circle. I did a blank circle like this and had them draw me an emoji, and they loved that, that activity. Collaborates are a Post-it board that are public for the kids to see. Everybody who's in the Nearpod lesson can see everybody else's posts, and it comes on the board like a little Post-it, and I'll go into that later. I did run into some difficulties with Collaborate on the student-paced mode. You basically, you don't have any control of it, and that can get away from you quickly. So most of the time in middle school, I disable that during student-paced mode. In teacher-paced mode, it's perfect. The kids like it. They can like each other's. There's a little heart button on their post, so they can like each other's posts. They can add pictures from Google, or they can just comment. Excuse me. And then they will come in on teacher-paced mode. They come into my inbox for approval, and then I can say yes, and it will post them. I can also turn that off to where it automatically posts. And in teacher-paced mode, if there's a post that's inappropriate, I can delete it. In student-paced mode, you can't. And that's my trouble with the student-paced mode Collaborate feature. So I don't want to get bogged down. I'll do that one later. Poll, you can have the kids take a poll. Fill in the blanks is a great little activity. Basically, you can paste in a paragraph and then pick which words to pull out and put in the word bank. So it's pretty cool. And the memory test is just like a picture memory test. It's really neat. That's it in a nutshell. I know this is longer, but I will go into detail further on in my tutorials for each of the lessons. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I know you're going to love Nearpod. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.